marsupial as far as I know. Hey, I did have other aliases. I stuck with this one. Signed up to stuff with this one, so looks like it's this one. I got a reverb pen in the back. It's a big reverb pen. It could go to anything. It could go to a Fender Princeton, but for my case, it goes to a PV Studio Pro. Typically, it's the size that goes into the Bandit, however. The Bandits that had the, what do you want to call it? Analog, manual reverbs, not the digital. Well, I have a new old stock for that, and I hadn't gotten around to doing nothing of anything at all with putting it in. I'm not looking to blimey and screw it up. My soldering skills. Well, once I started using the lead solder rather than lead-free solder, I did notice a bit of some more maneuverability and way to finesse. There's somebody standing in the middle of the yard, man, in the rain, texting. Cool. We're done. It's all done. You know my lyrics somewhere. I'll find them. I'm not exactly sure what they are for It's A-OK to EMP. I'm a Luddite with an internet connection. I sounded like an old man. That's from It's Raining Bone-Clad Gizmos, and if I ever do re-release that, not that anyone listens to any of the stuff I do, I'm aware of that, alright? I'm self-aware about the things I need to be, and oblivious to what I don't know, because some things that we're oblivious about, you can try, I don't know, how do you find out with what you're oblivious about, you know? I was oblivious about a distribution called McGroove, but maybe I should have known better. Still to this day, there's some tracks of mine that get copyright claims because I don't think they ever undid what they did. That company vamoosed finally, but never got to see the repercussion of their own misdeeds. All I knew is that some of my songs were being claimed by some music company that was based in like Brazil or something like that. So don't sign up for free distribution services. It's not a good idea. Oh, by the way, the last time I said something about eating chips, you know, you do something every once in a while, right? Every once in a long while, you decide that's the time to record a video. I was oblivious about that because it made me seem like a regular chip eater. That's not the case because, man, I got a horrible stomach after that. Don't eat those chips. That's a bunch of sloppy glop. Stomach still feels upset a bit, but that's okay, I guess. Cook up a nice bowl of pasta, some buttered noodles with black pepper and some salt on there. Maybe mix some cheese of your liking into it, you know. That's better, but it takes time. We're rushed into the world of birth to being in not even a wooden box anymore. That's not efficient enough. There's a movie called The Loved One, and it's about how a funeral park, I guess, I don't know. What do you call it? It wasn't just a graveyard, it wasn't just a cemetery, it was a whole entire meadow. Something like that. The owner of that couldn't see any profit in the oncoming age of technological swindling. So he had an idea. It was basically they were going to take the departed and they're going to shoot them out into outer space and then turn what was the cemetery into a retirement home area. So they could make a lot more cash. So I just am only saying that because you're probably not even going from birth to a wooden box anymore. You probably find yourself disintegrated, turned into dish detergent or something similar, you know? If such subject matter doesn't sit well with you, and the idea of the non-expected oncoming, then this channel is not for you. If you want daily news anecdotes about trauma, stress, and the tensions of life, based off the slippery fingertips of political grasp attempts, there's tons of the daily news coverage kind of stuff going on that'll probably give you an ulcer, you know. Me, I'll give you an ulcer in different ways. These people have got their lights on. It's starting to come down a bit. It's raining cats and dogs out there, and many of my cats are outdoors, but they can manage. They wanted, they couldn't, they were demanding to go out. The mother cat came in. She's like a TY Beanie Baby or whatever. Is that it? TY? To find out. Because I got one right here. I found one. I was going through all like, this probably was my grandma's or something. TY. Hey, I was right. That's good. TY Beanie Baby. I bet you this is worth a lot of money. 17 years ago. Pumpkin. Oh, I didn't know that. I had to open it up to find out that that's a pumpkin. It says pumpkin on it, and every time I throw it, it lands exactly as it should, and I'm happy about that. One less step away from an ulcer. Is this recording? Oh, it is. That's splendid. Needless to say, yeah, I had a reverb problem where every time I turned the reverb up, and I love to use reverb. Oh no, look at that truck. That's a nice colored truck, but I'm glad I'm not driving behind the thing. I might eventually be doing so though if I have to stop and get fuel somewhere and it's going the same route. Well, that's not a very nice thing to do, what I had just seen somebody had done back there. I'll just leave it at that. There's a llama farm. There's a lot of llama farms up through this way. I fixed the rear wobbling of what was going on with my vehicle, and then I realized right here, and I know it must be right here, don't let it deter my investigation skills of sense activity, whatever the hell you want to call that. That's a modernized display of information that costs a lot more, that translates to me seeing what's going on. It's like right here there's something wobbling, and what can you do? So I'm gonna do the magic trick of talking myself out of all the yarns I'm tying myself up in, or tying the loose threads up, which is two things as far as I can tell. The reverb pan back there, and a Luddite with an internet connection. And how I sounded like a really old man when I was writing that lyric, which was off of a song called "Shove Your Cell Phone Up Your Bleep Bleep." And then it would have to be smartphone today, because even the word cell phone seems dated. It's like flip phone, right? Which is a lot better. Flip phones are way better. Imagine you have a flip phone, flips out, and a slide out keypad. This is revolutionary information which will see very few ears listening to it, but the amount of what do you want to call it? We need to get those numbers up. We need to get those numbers up. It's not progress. It's definitely never. Most of what you label as progress isn't progress, really. It's just somebody that has a stigma, and then they need an excuse. It wasn't always that way. But when you redirect language into giving yourself a scapegoat, words work really good to alter. We're going to get those numbers up. We're going to really... What I'm trying to say is that if you had a keypad on every smartphone, there wouldn't be a lot less of people standing around in the rain in the middle of the yard, hypnotically fixated on basically having their ego inflated because everyone seems to aim to find people that will justify their own stature in the world, rather than when the internet was nerdy and boring and it was the encyclopedia and you get your emails saying delete system 32, warning, warning, and AOL instant messenger and AOL chat rooms, which weren't really any better. It was just a slower version of what concaved us into today. But I'm just saying that you would get done a lot quicker the things you're intending to do with a physical keypad. I don't think anyone really, and you can argue with me about this, but I don't think anyone really has actually mastered the touchpad. And I just have to wonder how many times the backspace button is used. Might just be me, but I don't know. Every time I hit the A, it's always Q. It hits Q instead of A all the time. Maybe it's just me. But I had a song. It's called "Shove Your Cell Phone Up Your Anal," and it was a horrible sounding song. On purpose. It was dismal. It reminded me of a song by somebody who made an album called "The Devil Lied to Me." And Trendy as Shit Bag was the name of one of the songs. I don't know. That person was trying to let somebody go. I'm not, because they're looking at their phone and everything. And yeah, it smells like a disaster around here. It smells like a chemical disaster. I better leave. I might find my prayers and answers solved if I hang along too closely to a chemical disaster. You figure that out. That's a reference to countries that have pollution issues and people that have multiple limbs or strange body responses to being born in a chemical pollution habitat. Instead of it being called a pollution mutation response, it's called a miracle and confused as some sort of spiritual symbol or something like that. But really, it's people being born and finding extra limbs or extreme tumors in situations like that. And the coping mechanism is to associate it with some sort of development of sorts. That's interesting to me, I guess. I don't know. So shove your cell phone up your It's a really bad sounding song, but I don't know, it made me think of something, because it says I'm a Luddite with an internet connection, and then I start screaming. But deep down, it's a pretty catchy tune. Oh my lord, you're just gonna stop right there. Oh god, you're just gonna you're just gonna be like, hey, I forgot I live here, but I'm gonna turn here right now. Anyway, now I had a lyric that was supposed to be cartoon comedy and everything like that, and it was about the frustrations of coexisting with the digital world and everything like that, and leaping from, Oregon Trail and Number Munchers and whatever else. Free ski is still free ski is one of those rose-colored tinted glasses things. Nostalgia. That trap of nostalgia is very true, by the way, also, because I would like to just enjoy living in the now. I mean, there's a lot of moments of things people slip by, being a past era and everything like that, and it's like, you gotta remember all the memories that you didn't want to recall in the future and everything like that, because I know there were many of them. So I just try to make as much as my now as I can, in a way where I'm not ripping myself off either through pretty sounding lies. I chose to go this way because I guess I just wanted to do this thing first with the reverb pan and all that. And I don't know, I kind of covered the topic of reverb pan as much as I should have, but yeah, basically I dial the reverb up and I get this hissing that's just terrible. And at the same time, I have a nice size reverb pan that'll give me that splash, that craziness. And I'm going to use that. I was going over some instrumental songs the other day, and I hadn't listened to them in the longest time, and it's like soundtrack music kind of thing and everything like that. And I was pulled into the ones that actually I think can work out. I was really confused because I was liking to have them involved with some sort of music library, or you know, being able to license them and all this and all that. And then I realized I'm shit out of luck with that happening unless some miracle happens. I'm not joking though, man. I live in this area. We're going on to that rant again. If I ever fix this rant, because I'm starting to identify with the issues of the situation, which means I'll have to change how I identify with the issues of that situation, if I can improve them. But people around where I live really don't want me to do well, I suppose, and it blows. So I have to multitask like you don't believe and still be trying to catch up with the situation of living itself and everything like that. But it's not too fun when people don't want you to do well, when all I want to do is everything else you heard me talk about before, the videos from before. So basically, I'm not supposed to be allowed to be me, but you're supposed to be a free thinker. But if you're a free thinker, you have to be a free thinker in the way where everyone of the current moment is telling you exactly how, so they can rip you up somehow or whatever and elevate themselves using you as a step along the way. And I'd rather be a Luddite than at that point. So that cartoon comedy of a situation, of which was me trying to diffuse myself away from all this digital distraction. I had some lyric that says I'm gonna hit you in the head with a typewriter for hours. And looking back on that, I'm like, wow, that sounds like that sounds extremely violent. That sounds like a maladjusted situation of the mind or something like that. 'Cause I thought it was funny. It was another one of those improvised songs too, and I think that the catharsis of improvising music is finding out what happens as you do it, and then having it as a staple of being a song, and it's firm, it's done, and then you really don't go back and change like lyrics or anything like that when you do it that way. I find it as a function of free-form catharsis. Yeah, there was all these people. I think Al Jorgensen had some interview lately with Billy Corgan, and he said something that was really neat to me, because I heard it before through other people, and I figured it was about that with him anyway. He said, I have no credit for the songs I do, really. I just work as an antenna, as a receptor. And then the band System of a Down said that too in an interview. They're one of the mainstream bands, I guess mainstream, I don't know, that I really enjoy a lot, System of a Down, because they could be like a hard band, but there's something sacral to their sound, and at the same time, there's something that just takes the piss out of the expectation to be serious. They seem like before it all happened, and I think I know what happened, but everyone does, don't they? But do you really? I think when they were having fun with that it's a kind of a Dionysian, insanity. It's like a controlled chaos with what some of what they're doing. They said it too, said something about the music. Don't, expect to credit us because we just are an antenna to it. And nobody knows who I am, and my town wants me to do fucking bad, obviously, and I'm gonna vindicate myself regarding that because I don't know. What did I do? It's kind of some bullshit to me. nobody has my back. I'd love to have a crew, but then we'd probably get in a lot of trouble, I guess. But when music happens and you look back and you're proud and happy about anything at all, it usually happens just by being thoughtless about it, you know, working as a receptor. And that goes back into a lot of things, you know, I wish I was reading more of again in my life. But this whole fake reality thing's trying to basically fucking pin me down, you know. I'll let them go. Rather than just pulling out ahead and causing a giant, frantic, bad situation. It's better for everyone that way. Anyway, there is one line on, I think, 2 songs for It's Raining Boneclad Gizmos that I'm gonna change. I have to dig out hard drives. This reverb pan fix situation right now, maybe it should be me getting a hard drive and then digging up stuff and putting it on the hard drive and everything like that, but I have no clue. I'm going with my best intent on all of this kind of thing. If I get a quote or whatever and it's like way too much anyway for the reverb band stuff, then I'm still putting fuel money down on this trip that's a long trip. Because I had like 4 different places back in that town, in which apparently I am like some, I don't know. Say, hey, Loam. I'm like, what? Why am I asking myself a question saying, hey, my name? It's from the perspective that somebody else is asking me the damn question. Well, do you overthink that kind of stuff? I was like, I don't know, probably, but I probably have a defense built up, like a lot of people do. And I don't know, you know, I have a defense built up from crappy situations happening, and trying to not be ripped off. Or this place I'm driving, they helped me out with something that like 4 other places, and my guitar basically being held captive back there, and then them saying they didn't even look at it when I went to pick it up. They helped me with the wiring on it and everything like that, so that's why I'm taking all this chance of driving this far and everything like that, you know, so I don't know, is there trouble or vindication saying that kind of thing, like, hey, I'm trying what I can with who I am, but being in a college town and everything like that, I guess that's not for me, but I want to run my own thing, and that's who I am. It's hard as hell to get around things and then not be a participant yourself, because that life fire, that energy within, oh no, I don't know, it still lives, you know. And it's like you're supposed to feel ashamed for not dying out internally or something like that. I mean, I got an upset stomach. I'm not eating chips again. What was I thinking? What's the pleasurable experience of eating jalapeno chips? You just eat a jalapeno and then have a potato. Jalapeno chips is like this greasy mess of the stuff, and the residue gets all glompy and stuck in the beautiful expression of the concave of the, you know, teeth that you have and everything like that. Well, something's happening. There's a big old traffic jam here. I have to get some fuel. That's Loam Vision. Oh my god, this is just a big old fucking therapy session, isn't it? But whatever. Heals me a lot more than actually going to that kind of stuff. My recommendation to you is to never go to therapy. That's my improvement tip of the day here.